over the past few weeks since mental missteps have been spoiled. In fact, he wrote an entire article about mental misstep.
Yeah.
He's a big proponent of it. On the other hand, Ari Lax didn't seem to think that it was going to make the impact that people expected. So, two opposing opinions, both articles available on Star City Games. Take a look back at those over the past few weeks.
Did you read Nguyen's last comment, which I think is relevant? He says if he plays lots of one-ofs and lots of tutors and card draw, it's still consistent.
I know that. I'm very aware of that. I'm just like trying to troll him back.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why I just told him to shut up.
You can't troll someone who actually lives under a bridge and is actually a troll. So Korey starts off with the planes. We've got a polluted delta from Chris VanMeter. Island from Korey.
Turn 2 Stoneforge Mystic.
Saw a lot of
Search
that.
for a Batter Skull and wait.
What format is this?
Yeah, except for the polluted delta, it's looking really a lot like what we were seeing this morning and yesterday.
Yep. You know, personally, as the Team America player, I would love to stifle the enter the battlefield trigger right there.
Yeah, nice Squire.
That would have been hilarious. So he searches up a Sword of the Meek there. With the Stoneforge. Chris is going to crack his Blue Delta end of turn. To find what I imagine would be an Underground Sea here. Yep. We just see so many different decks today. It's just really exciting.
I know we're in round 4 and we've seen 8 different decks.
Yeah. We almost saw 2 of the same deck in round 3, but they got vetoed. Well, that's what. Well, they kind of vetoed it themselves.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a Misty Rainforest, and searches for the second Underground Sea, like you do, because if he's, I would hit the Turok here if he has it. I don't know if he does. Dark Confidant works too. Yeah, with Dark Confidant blind on turn 2, with 2 Tombstalkers in the deck. Let's see if we get to witness that cute little interaction
2
firsthand.
Tombstalkers, also, 4 Forces of Will.
That's true.
Force of Wills.
Well, he's got the combo here. Stop the Foundry.
Yeah.
Probably gonna get forced.
Seems like it would be
I think it's a mental misstep.
reasonable. I believe that's mental misstep, yeah. Removing mental misstep, yep.
I was gonna say, I would definitely
The only
force
blue
that
card
with
I think
the other card
available.
in his hand. Yeah, I think so.
I see a bunch of lands in
I
his
think
hand.
he's just like full of lands there.
Yeah, which is why that Bob's important.
Yeah.
So, Chris goes to 19 off of the, actually 18 off of the Force and the Fetch. And now he's going to, he gains gets a polluted Delta. And
Draws is that a
second Bob, yep.
Yep.
So he's got Bob, and a bunch of lands at this point in hand. Well, he's got a Bob in play and a Bob in hand and a bunch of lands. And 1 Wasteland, which will be, I was going to say, he might as well use that now.
Yeah.
Best time to use it. Play another Bob.
You imagine if we go Tombstalker next turn?
That would be quite the top deck.
That would be 1 for the archives, 1 for the
Absolutely.
ages. I'll go on the blooper reel. True Hollywood Korey McDuffie in the tank at this time.
And is he gonna? I wonder if he's about to swords one of the Bobs.
Hell, I'd almost let my opponent keep double blind Bob.
I don't know. I mean, if he could see his hand, he'd probably want to kill them both.
Yeah,
He'd definitely want to kill them both.
There's a Stone Forge.
Interestingly, Korey only plays 2 Force of Will.
Yeah, and 2 in the board.
Yeah, two mainly.
Maybe he doesn't have a lot of things he wants to pitch, or maybe he doesn't have a lot of things to pitch. It
Or
looks
he
that
just
way.
doesn't, he only brings them in for must counter, decks where he just
Combo.
has really must counter spells.
Things like that. Search up sort of Fire and Ice there with the other Stone Forge Mystic.
Yeah, it looked like he considered a possible Swords to Plowshares and then changed his mind. I don't know if he has it in hand. There's a Divining Top.
I knew that the one Stone Forge was all. Okay.
That's
Chris is getting off easy with these
Yeah.
double bobs here. There's a Brainstorm and a Wasteland.
right. Wasteland's dead right now.
Right.
Brainstorm's going to help him.
Brainstorm's
Brainstorm's going to help him a lot because it's going to help him not only dig to some action, but at the same time set up Bob for next turn.
Yeah, put those put 2 lands back on top. There's his action. I think he goes with 2 lands here and then a him to Turok. Puts 2 lands back, plays another land, him.
Did you see him? Did you
I
grab
saw him in
Okay,
the
I saw
Brainstorm,
Jace, but I didn't see him.
You did, you saw Jace, you said it.
Right. I didn't see him to Torok though.
Oh, him to Turok, okay.
Is that Goyf as well?
Here's all my action.
Yeah.
It was on top of my deck the whole time. And then next turn he can play the Jace, and then he's pretty much safe with those bobs there. Safe from his own Doomstalkers for as
Right.
long as he needs.
So just to give you guys a recap right here, Korey McDuffie has a Plains and 2 Islands in play, all tapped. Sensei's Divining Top and 2 Stoneforge Mystics. One of which grabbed what, Sword of Fire and Ice, the other one grabbed Sword of the Meek.
Yes. And we've got the him to Turok off Bayou and Underground Sea from Chris right now.
Yeah, Chris VanMeter played a Brainstorm and then played a Hymn to Torok, which is going to probably resolve momentarily, but Korey is currently using Sensei's Divining Top to protect a card. Actually, no, he used the top to draw a card, and not protect a card. He can't put him back on top. To draw a card just to make the chances of hitting whatever it is he's trying to protect a little bit less. So didn't get to see what he lost. One is a Sword of Fire and Ice. What else? There's the Divining Top.
So apparently,
Chris-
I'm sorry to cut you off. Apparently, the dark or the double Tombstalker off of this on this deck came from an idea that that LSV had posted recently.
Okay.
I think that's what I was told on Twitter, or could have very well.
Yeah, I mean,
From that
this
list.
isn't that much of a stretch off of the Team America or bug control lists that have been going around for a while. Just some slight modifications. You got to fit Mental Misstep in there, So yeah, again, on Korey's side of the board, just to again start to recap, but get interrupted. Well, okay, Korey's side of the board is Plains, 3 Islands. Just one of those islands is tapped. 2 Stoneforge Mystics and a Sensei's Divining Top. Chris's side of the board is 4 tapped lands, 2 of which are Underground Sea, 1 Tropical Island, 1 Bayou. 2 Dark Confidants and 1 Jace the Mind Sculptor, which just resolved and brainstormed. At least I believe it's resolving right now. No, okay, maybe it's on the stack right now. I know Korey looks like he's resolving a brainstorm. Or a top. I see the brainstorm in his hand.
Right. Off the top.
So yeah, he's using top. And Vile's in Sword of the Meek. So yeah, Jace did resolve and cast a brainstorm, and Korey attempts to Legend Rule away Chris's Jace, and that resolves. So Jace the Mind Sculptor kills Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Chris did have a Daze in hand, but he was playing around it, so.
Yeah. So now Korey's Wasteland is coming back on if he so chooses to use it against that Tundra. Not that Korey's hurting on mana entirely, but
I love how Chris keeps showing the exact same 2 cards off the exact same 2 bobs.
yeah.
Not giving away any information at all. He does bin the Tundra with the Wasteland and plays 2 Tarmogoyfs.
Double Tarmogoyf. I'm seeing double all over the board. Double Bob, double Goyf, double Stoneforge Mystic.
triple Twitter earlier.
Yeah, we had triple Twitter a little while ago.
I wonder if it's us.
There's Swords to Plowshares for one of the Goyfs. Exiled.
That will gain him a nice little amount of life.
Yeah, check it out. We've got instant
Planeswalker.
land, Planeswalker, sorcery. Any creatures in the bin?
Artifact in Korey's side. I don't think there are any creatures, so...
I
5
don't
life?
think so
Or
either.
6 life? No,
And
5
that's Magic
life.
players. We are still taking sign-ups for today's two-headed giant tournament. If you're interested in signing up,
It reveals a Stifle in an Underground Sea off of the Dark Confidants.
She'll be more than happy to get you taken care of. Entry fee
Those
is
bobs
$30
are
per team.
ridiculous.
You will receive 4 packs
They
of
sure are.
stars and 4 packs of New Phyrexia, with which to build 2 40-card decks. Again, if you're interested in getting in on this two-headed giant tournament, please come on over to the side of the stage now.
Alright, I'm gonna go join the Two-Headed Giant tournament. No. Just announcing Two-Headed Giant there. Sounds fun. We've got work to do.
There's a lot of side events.
Yeah, there
Talking
are.
to Jason yesterday about that. He was in the booth here talking about the invitational qualifiers and then all the side events that happen at these events and all the
In
things
fact,
going on at the invitational.
the draft opens. The second draft open starts right around now, right? 2 o'clock.
Right after round 4.
Right after round 4, which they start signing up for the second draft open.
Yeah. So anybody who's in Orlando watching and wants to come draft, head down here quick.
Yeah, and I mean the draft opens are awesome. I mean, 64 players bound off the course of 2 booster drafts. I'm guessing is it Phyrexia Besiege Scars format now, right? In the draft opens, right?
Right.
$500 for the top prize.
Yeah, PDS, right? PBS, yeah.
You got Darksteel in there? Oh, B.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
PBS. So Swords to Plowshares for one of the Bobs that time, but it got forced.
Yep.
And there's a Tarmogoyf and a Mental Misstep off of the Bobs. So, Korey McDuffie right now has 3 islands and a Plains. Plains is the only thing tapped because he just cast his Swords to Plowshares, which got Force of Willed. But as far as his board presence, Sensei's Divining Top, 2 Stoneforge Mystics, and a Sword of the Meek, which is equipped to one of the Stoneforge Mystics. Not too impressive, really. Go for the Throat takes out the Mystic that was holding the Sword of the Meek, and VanMeter gets in with his side of the board, which is Dark Confidant, Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf is at least a 5 power, I believe a 6 power at this point because the Go for the Throat just took out a Stoneforge Mystic, so that added a creature to the bin.
Sure did.
VanMeter in a commanding board position right now adds a Tarmogoyf just to supplement that position. He lost one Tarmogoyf to a Swords to Plowshares a few turns ago and plays another one. And Brainstorm from Korey gets Mental Misstep by Chris, and we go into game 2.
Sure did.
So there you go, Chris VanMeter looking like he didn't really have much action early, and Dark Confidant just
Dug him straight
Yep.
to that action.
Yep, 2 Dark Confidants.
Yeah.
Shows you the power of that card.
Two-headed.
No
two-headed
Tomb
giant.
Stalkers off of it, notably, right? No
Right.
Tomb Stalkers off of the Dark Confidant, which
Still
we were
waiting.
kind of laughing about.
I still really want to see that. Not for Chris's sake,
Yeah, Chris doesn't really want to see that.
but man, that would be hilarious.
So take a look at the sideboards here.
So I think obviously Pernicious Deed comes in for Chris. Crossing Grip is almost required, I think, against Thought for Sword. So it just stops their combo. Not so keen on the spot removal. Yeah, I'm not so sure on the spot removal there. Extirpate, definitely great historically against the Thought for Sword combo. So
Yeah, that's not the only thing going
split
on in the
second
deck,
in
but
general.
yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, like, there are ways to deal with it. Crossing Grip deals with
counterbalance is in there,
the
too.
yeah,
Counterbalance top.
either one of those pieces.
Absolutely.
With any of the combo pieces in that deck, frankly. So things could change a little bit here, or get better for Chris, depending on what Korey has to answer that.
And Korey's got Humility. That'll be big.
Yeah,
Against the
creatures in the hand
Tarmogoyfs
will
and
be
the
very
Tomb
small.
Stalkers, right. Korey's creatures lose an entire 1 toughness and lose the ability to vial in equipment. That's about all he loses to Humility. So and that's his Stoneforge Mystics.
Draft open
Become
number 1,
1/1s.
the top 8 players. Please report to the draft
However,
open
if he
area.
chooses to play Meddling Mage, which I don't think that he will, that's a different story. He's got Seal of Cleansing in there. 2 more Force of Wills. Don't know if he's thinking of bringing those in. I don't know that that's necessary. In fact, he may even side the ones he has out to make some room. Potentially, there's no must counters, I don't think, in Chris's deck, like that he can't just kind of deal with otherwise.
I don't think there are really.
I mean, it's not like a
him is
combo
always
piece.
one that it's good to get rid of if you.
Right, but I mean, you basically him yourself by forcing anyway.
Right.
I love the fact there's a 1 of warmth in Korey's sideboard.
Remind us what warmth does.
Well, I had to remind myself, which is why I am talking about it. It's a white and 1. It's an enchantment. 6th edition. It was in Tempest. Okay, 6th edition in Tempest. Whenever one of your opponents plays a red spell, you gain 2 life to read the card text.
It makes me all warm inside.
Yeah. But I'm sure it doesn't make the people playing against it, who it's for, warm inside at all.
No. So, yeah, Humility's there. Seal of Cleansing there for really nothing, so that's not really anything. It's Sylvan Library.
Well, you know, I mean, there's Pernicious Deed post-board, but
That's
like,
not
he
gonna-
didn't see
not gonna
that,
do
and I
that,
doubt
yeah.
he's going to put it in
He's
for
not putting
a
Sealing
potential
Cleansing in-
single copy sideboard card.
Yeah, not at all.
Nah.
Not likely. Yeah. Really, to me, doesn't look like he's got much more than, like, Engineered Explosives, potentially,
Maybe he even brings in like the relics
to shrink
To
voice
shrink
and
voice.
defend against Tombstalkers.
yeah.
Seems like he's got one relic.
Being
Seems
he
like-
has such a small board plan, a seemingly small board plan against this deck, it doesn't seem like a terrible idea.
just an.
I mean, engineered
yeah.
explosives could actually.
That's
be
what I
potentially
that's what I
good,
did,
too.
was just saying engineered explosives and possibly Humility and possibly engineered explosives were the only 2 cards that I think really would come in. Possibly a relic, that's kind of cool. Possibly Pithing Needle, but like Pithing Needle doesn't really stop very much either. You know, like when you look at it, no, nothing, no reason to bring in Pithing Needle. It's funny because when I'm looking at these boards, I get mixed up with which list I'm comparing it to. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, Pithing Needle, that stops Counterbalance and Top. Oh wait, they're in the list I'm looking at. He doesn't want to stop his own stuff.
Yeah, I almost started thinking like last round. I started thinking back to the lists we saw of AJ's and Jerry's for their sideboards. I was like, oh, oh, that's right. That was the list we were just looking at that we didn't watch.
Yeah. So just an update from Twitter. Josh J MTG not watching the coverage, but tweeting, hashtagging his tweets with SCGFL. He's 4-0 here today after pummeling Alex Bertoncini at table 1. Alex is double queuing with the draft open apparently. So you were joking.
No, I wasn't joking.
You weren't joking. You thought
No.
he might be doing that.
Yeah, I
thought
figured he
you were
might
kidding. Yeah, he is.
He's
Alex.
He's a monster.
Drafting
so.
and playing in Legacy. Why not?
Exactly.
He's
why
level
not?
8. Might as well just have fun, play as much Magic as he possibly can. He's trying to pull a Rietzel
Yeah, looks like
at
it.
this point. He's getting pummeled. I don't know if he's pulling a Rietzel, but trying. Chris VanMeter going to 6. Taking a look here at his new opener. I'm not sure how good that is. I think I saw Polluted Delta, possibly Misty Rainforest. It might be fine. For a second, I didn't see those fetch lands, so he keeps. Korey leads with a turn 1 Divining Top, and Chris with a turn 1 Polluted Delta. Same as he started last game.
Those basic lands there that Korey has, I think those are like the Guru lands or something.
Something like that. They're pretty rare.
They're like expensive basics.
Flooded Strand comes down for Korey.
I'm gonna
You
set
gonna
up
take a
for 2
break?
seconds.
Cool.
Yep.
Go for it. APAC, okay. APAC,
okay.
Guru, get him. I got a lot.
Which
Those
one
rare
is more
lands that I
pin?
don't have, I get mixed up.
Guru more pimp?
I think so.
Okay. Just because I like. Is that a matter of opinion though?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all a matter of opinion with those lands. Like
There
as
are
far as
multiple APAC kinds, like APAC
Right.
Europe, APAC Japan, stuff like that.
Glenn Jones in the booth with us now, or with me anyway.
I saw Chris's deck getting played in some between rounds. He was letting people play against Jerry and AJ's.
Yeah.
And it was rather comical.
Him to Turok from Chris.
It's a lot of ones, which is not one of the numbers they usually.
Hits counterbalance and top. Not that he doesn't already have a top, but quite the combo, yeah.
Oh, he still has another
I
counterbalance.
think he does, yeah. Wow. Double top, double
That's
counterbalance.
actually pretty funny, but he doesn't have the
He doesn't have the blue source. So Chris, I think he's about to drop a Misty Rainforest here. I think, yep. And he's got in his hand Sylvan Library, which just hit the table. And Force of Will, Jace the Mind Sculptor, Mental Misstep, I believe, are the rest of the cards in his hand. So Korey decides he wants to use the top. Seems good. They're arena lands, according to Twitter.
Oh, are they?
I don't know. I mean, that's pimp and all, but I'm still partial to like the unhinged, unglued lands myself. Just the full art. Yeah, I like those. I like full art. I like Zendikar's full art lands too, but they're. Yeah, he's got Brainstorm on top there, and he's hiding the rest.
Probably thinking about a lot of things. Thinking Lightning Tutor might want one of the cards. He's got a moat in his hand, which is not very good in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm surprised he kept that. I mean, he did get beat down by Goyfs and Dark Confidants last game, so.
Sure. But his opponent just has some very easy ways to go over the moat, like Jace and Tombstalker.
Yeah.
Both completely ignore it. Another Enlightened Tutor in there. Sort of Fire and Ice and another card. The other card appearing to be what we want. I searched up Tundra, which is a little dangerous.
Yeah.
Considering this deck is definitely known for its wastelands.
Exactly. Well, there's a counterbalance, so we've got counterbalance top on the board if Chris lets this resolve. He does have the option to force it. Yeah. There's a force removing Mental Misstep. I think we're going to see that a lot. Mental Misstep being removed for force.
Yep.
It's like a perfect card to chill in your hand if you need it early, and if not, it's a great card to remove the force.
This game's about to become very tough for Korey. His Solven's just going to be huge. Korey's deck doesn't really present a lot of threat. He can pay 4 life many times without feeling in danger.
Yeah, last game Chris had double Bob on board, so he was just drawing 2 extra cards every turn. And this game sets up a Sylvan Library, and it's pretty much just as good.
He may actually just go ahead and tap out for Jace this turn. He's probably pretty sure that Korey doesn't have any other kind of counter because he didn't fight over the counterbalance.
Right. Looks like I think you're right.
And once Jace sticks, Korey has that same problem. He just doesn't have ways to attack it, to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's just difficult to get them online.
What do you think about Stoneforge Mystic and like these? It's basically a counterbalance kind of, or Thopter top list and Stoneforge Mystic.
Yeah. I like that it gives you this ability to sort of hybridize threats, and like you can find the combo when you need it, and sort of Fire Ice and Feast of Famine can also be very particular threats against a lot of decks. Like against Merfolk, you don't want to search up a sort of like a Sword of the Meek is just useless, but you get Fire and Ice with a Mystic out is actually a legitimate threat.
Right. It's an interesting take on the deck.
Topping for an answer to that chase.
Yeah.
Looks like we're going to airball. Probably means we're going to play Enlightened Tutor to find a Pavilion or something similar.
He has a Latent Tutor right on top, and that's what he's doing. Yep. So he throws away his top. Oh, Thopter Foundry, yeah.
Is
Threatening.
Sword in his hand already?
It may be. I haven't seen it yet, but maybe he has another Enlightened Tutor. Maybe he's taking a guess here.
Looks like another Enlightened Tutor, yeah. That's bold.
So Chris now.
He's just going to try and stick the combo and ride it. Has
right.
No other recourse, really.
Joe. So Joe's back to quickly take my place for a sec. Thanks, man.
Oh, and that was a bad miss.
Korey's just going aggro with Thopter Foundry here rather than trying to fight the Jace. Like, fighting an attrition war against his opponent with Sylvan is not going to work, but if he can land the combo, which Chris might not be able to answer, then he can actually just win in spite of all the cards. But
right.
The Thopter Foundry was countered, which means that's probably just not going to work now.
Seems like that.
But it was a bold line.
Yeah.
I like it, now that I think about it. A lot of people, especially in formats with Legacy, it happens in Standard a lot too, where if what you're doing is just better than what your opponent's doing, you can afford to lose a lot of cards. People were talking about that with older Rug decks, which had so many powerful cards that even against an active Jace, Rug could often come back.
Right.
Because, like, Inferno Titan's that good,
yeah.
Mr. Golem's that good.
Yeah.
Like, they drew 4 extra cards, but none of them were as good as those cards.
Inferno Titan really is that good.
More threats. Enlightened Tutor. This might be a bait. Probably not. What are we finding? He does have a moat in his hand, so these two guys aren't going to kill him at least.
Maybe Humility? I mean, he's got that too in his sideboard.
He may go for Pithing Needle here and hope to draw land, so he can go land, Pithing Needle, moat to just shut off that board, and then he's just got to beat the Sylvan.
Yep.
Just as I was saying before, like, this is not good, obviously. Like, trying to beat a Sylvan on no cards is pretty rough, but I obviously can't draw land, he's going to hit the Pithing Needle, but
right.
He can shut off Jace, take some damage, and then vote. Just trying to beat Sylvan all by itself is just so tough. He can moat to preserve the damage now, but that'll give Chris another turn with Jace.
Right. Well, he's going to have to, it looks like.
I guess. One of the reasons is also if that moat doesn't stick right here, he's certainly dead, basically.
Yeah.
He'll just take too much damage. So he probably just wants to stick it now before a brainstorm digs him out of it.
Just sitting right on top of Chris's deck, so.
Check on Sylvan. Yeah, he just accidentally added all the cards from Sylvan to his hand.
He sure did.
Which I think they're going to end up ruling he just has to pay 8. Yeah.
Yeah, the reading it isn't going to do any good. You got to get the Oracle text there.
I feel like he's just going to have to take 8 in this position. Unless he just saw.
Or 12, actually, because, well, he can't pay.
Dark Confidant's not a draw or anything, so that doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't draw, that's right.
I guess they decided that he could see the cards, which cards were which. That's interesting.
Huh.
Got away with a little bit there.
I would have definitely, if I were Korey, I would have definitely noticed that and pointed it out and made sure that it was...
Well, he did point out that he kept him from keeping the cards.
Right on.
It looked like he shuffled the cards into his hand. That was my primary concern. Once you can't separate the cards out, you kind of just have to make the game state what the game state is.
And who's to say which two he just put back?
It's a legal game state to have drawn all 3 cards there. Legally, it was possible for him to draw all 3 cards there. So the fact that he added him 10 implied that he had paid the 8 life for Sylvan. But yeah, I know. You draw them, but you have to put 2 of them back. You have to put back 2 of the
but you can only
cards.
you can only put back 2 of the cards that are drawn.
Only of those 2. So once they're added to your hand, you have to say that you've drawn them all.
Right.
And you're not putting any back. That was my concern.
I'm a Legacy noob and I even know that.
Chris is still just wrecking Korey off here, and now probably just going to die to the Jace.
Players, last call for a 2-headed giant field registration.
Sort of. It's kind of awkward.
Registration, please come to the front.
I imagine we'll find a sword to meet now and then wait for a locker counter.
Yeah, that's about all he can do at this point, right? I mean, he's sitting safely right now behind a moat, so...
He's dying to the Fate Seal, though, and that'll also keep him sort of feast and famine. Peculiar. I guess I don't know Korey's plan in this spot.
Yeah.
Does he have any ways to get rid of his own moat? Does he have a man land?
He has Seal of Cleansing in his sideboard, but I don't know if he would bring that in to get rid of his own stuff. No, he didn't see enough from Chris to justify bringing it in against him.
I mean, I actually just don't know what the plan is here. He doesn't have very many ways to generate flyers.
Maybe he was just using the ability because he can. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Well, he has Sword of the Meek, which is a relevant spell.
Well, right.
That's the thing. Sword of Feast and Famine is not going to be relevant unless you can put it on a flyer. The only flyer that I can stop your foundry.
Is that another Stoneforge Mystic? I think it was. Well. Now if he searches up Sword of Fire and Ice, we're going to be really confused. And he's definitely resting on it there for a minute.
This is interesting.
No, I think he went for the Sword of the Meek that time.
Okay.
Yeah, sure did.
Oh, Joey's back. I'm going to go back to Spectre.
Thank you again.
Thanks for spelling us. Appreciate it, as always.
It's just a fun test. I'm Glenn Master.
That's going to change my name, too.
Right.
So, right now, things are locked down pretty hard by Chris. And by Korey, but Chris's lockdown can win him the game, whereas Korey's can at least just keep him from losing to damage. Chris has the Jace down, Phyrexian Revoker likely naming Sword of the Meek, because it's about Korey's only out here. And of course he draws the Thopter Foundry on top of his deck. Wow. If that is in fact the Thopter Foundry.
I think it is.
Yes,
yep.
it is. Oh my goodness. We also could have named Thopter Foundry with the Revoker, but Sword will keep it from actually being too relevant. Yeah, he's going to keep Fate Sealing him into oblivion here. Korey needs to find a way to deal 10 damage in about 3 turns.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Like,
Nope. Agreed.
it's funny that Moat there is stopping, half of what Chris has in play. But it's funny that one card is stopping the entire thing, but on Chris's side, one card is about to win him the game, and that would be obviously Jace. I just think it's funny because it feels like if that Moat weren't there, Korey would just be dead. If that Jace weren't there, well, Chris wouldn't exactly be dead, but he wouldn't be doing very much.
Right.
He'd be digging for another Jace. Chris searches for a tropical island, adding to his several lands already on the battlefield. Yeah, I think Korey just scooped because nothing he could do.
Right.